Every large language model starts with a tokenizer, a fixed, hand-built step that chops text into tokens before the model ever sees it. HNet, from Carnegie Mellon and Cartesia in 2025, throws that step away. It reads raw bytes and learns to chunk them itself, end-to-end. In this video, why tokenizers are brittle, what HNet is, how it works, its UNet architecture, the dynamic chunking trick, how it compares, and where it wins. Tokenization is a bolt-on. A tokenizer like BPE is trained separately, then frozen, so the model can never improve it. It bakes in a fixed vocabulary and hand-tuned rules. That hurts on anything unlike clean English text, Chinese and other scripts, source code, and DNA all tokenize badly. It is fragile to typos and spelling, and raw bytes on their own are too long and slow to feed a plain transformer. We want segmentation the model learns for itself. HNet is an end-to-end, tokenizer-free language model that works directly on raw bytes. Instead of a fixed tokenizer, it contains a dynamic chunking mechanism that learns how to group bytes into meaningful chunks, jointly with the rest of the network. Everything is one differentiable model, trained together. Because segmentation is learned from content and context, HNet adapts its boundaries to the data, and it can stack several levels of chunking for several levels of abstraction. Let's trace one forward pass. Raw bytes go into a small encoder that produces a rich vector for each byte. The dynamic chunking module then decides where the boundaries are and downsamples the sequence into a handful of chunks. The main network, the biggest part, does the heavy reasoning on that short, compressed sequence. A chunking step upsamples back to byte resolution, and a small decoder produces the final byte-level output. All of it trains at once. The shape is an autoregressive UNet. The outer encoder and decoder run at fine byte resolution and use Mamba 2 layers, which compress fine-grained sequences efficiently. The inner main network holds most of the parameters and can be a transformer, a state space model, or a hybrid. Crucially, the design is recursive. You can nest another encoder, main network, and decoder inside the middle, giving a two-stage hierarchy that models several levels of abstraction, from bytes up to words and phrases. How can a model learn where to cut, when cutting is a hard yes or no choice? That is what dynamic chunking solves. A routing module compares each pair of neighboring byte vectors with a similarity score and marks a boundary, wherever they differ enough, so a new chunk starts at a real change in the content. A smoothing module then blends representations across uncertain boundaries, keeping everything differentiable. The result: chunk boundaries are learned by ordinary gradient descent, with no handwritten rules. Set it against the standard stack. A normal model bolts a fixed BPD tokenizer in front of a transformer. The tokenizer is trained separately, its vocabulary is frozen, and it leans on hand-tuned rules that break on code, non-English scripts, and typos. HNet instead works on raw bytes and learns its own content-aware boundaries as part of training. Same idea underneath. Group the sequence, then reason over the groups, but HNet learns the grouping instead of hard-coding it. HNet is not the first attempt to escape the tokenizer. Byte-level models like Megabyte chop the stream into fixed-size patches every few bytes, which ignores where content actually changes. The byte-latent transformer sets boundaries, using the entropy of a separate small byte model, smarter, but still not learned jointly with the main network. HNet is the one that folds boundary finding into the model itself and trains it end-to-end, so the chunks reflect what the full model finds useful. Now the headline numbers, measured in bits per byte for a fair comparison. When compute and data are matched, a one-stage byte-level HNet already beats a strong BPE transformer by around 2 to 3% on English. Push to a two-stage hierarchy and it matches a token-based transformer of twice its size. And on Chinese, code, and DNA, where tokenizers struggle most, HNet reaches nearly 4 times the data efficiency of the baselines. The messier the data, the bigger the win. Where does dropping the tokenizer pay off most? Anywhere tokenization is weak. Chinese and other scripts without clean word boundaries. Source code, where whitespace, indentation, and symbols confuse subword vocabularies. DNA and other raw byte streams that have no natural tokens at all. And because it reads real bytes, HNet is far more robust to typos and adversarial spelling. It is a natural fit for multilingual, multimodal, and lower source settings where one fixed tokenizer can never fit everything. So, when should you reach for it? When your data is exactly what tokenizers handle badly. Other languages, code, DNA, or noisy real-world bytes, and when you want a single model with no brittle preprocessing. When should you think twice? For clean English at modest scale, a well-tuned BP transformer is still simpler and has a mature ecosystem around it. HNet also leans on Mamba 2 kernels and is young research, so the tooling is less battle-tested for now. Quick recap. Standard models depend on a fixed tokenizer that is trained separately and never improves. HNet removes it. It reads raw bytes and learns to chunk them end-to-end. Its architecture is an autoregressive unit, a byte encoder, a large main network on compressed chunks, and a byte decoder. The magic is dynamic chunking. A routing module finds boundaries and a smoothing module keeps it differentiable. The payoff is better performance, especially on the data tokenizers handle worst. HNet makes a bold case. The tokenizer, one of the oldest fixed pieces of the language model pipeline, might finally be something the model can learn for itself. It is early, but the results across languages, code, and DNA are hard to ignore. If this made hierarchical dynamic chunking click, follow for more plain English genai breakdowns, and save this to revisit.